Good afternoon. We'll be streaming our news live today. Talking about, we're going to revisit Equifax revealing salary histories. We'll be taking a look at some lava lamps, new DNS service Quad9, once again the perils of JavaScript, and a little bit more commentary. All coming up next on the news. Thanks for watching. Okay, let's go ahead and get to our first story. I guess before we get over to our first story, I guess I'm allowed to mention today is a sad day. Watched the net neutrality repeal. It's very sad to watch. I believe the final vote was 3-2. 3 in favor of appeal, 2 against. All of the speakers against were very well able to present their point, and it was kind of sad. The 3 that were for the repeal of net neutrality didn't really seem to care about their speech and kind of thrown it together last second. Again, sad day. We'll see where that leads us here in the future of our technology. Let's move on to our first story now. First story is a follow-up to last time we had a story on how Equifax had a service that it was bringing back that allowed you to see your salary history with as little as your social security number, which unfortunately is not as secure as people would like you to think. Again, thank you to Brian Krebs at KrebsOnSecurity.com. He did give a follow-up to the story, so you can put a hold on your work number, formerly called the TALX number. The sad part is it's not very convenient. You have to send your request in via mail for them to turn this service off. And as the article continues, it's not exactly clear what other potential consequences freezing your file will do. So it doesn't look like they have made turning this service off very convenient for anyone, because of course they want to promote the service, and it looks like it's going to be coming at the hindrance of security. Let's not forget that security and convenience are always going to be battling each other, and you have to decide for yourself where you would like that line to be drawn, whether to be slightly more inconvenienced for the sake of security or slightly more convenienced for less security. And speaking of, we're finding now, and this article comes to us from cityam.com via Mr. Lyndall Wise. Careless employees are a bigger threat to cybersecurity than external hackers. So, as you would imagine, as the article discusses, you do have plenty of hackers that are trying to get into your system, but sometimes we forget as managers or administrators that people who have direct access to the machines as well as the computers and rights, and they're physically right there with the hardware, are your employees. So let's make sure that we are in fact teaching and training our employees, because many types of security are completely circumnavigated by an internal person's either neglect or accidental exposure of something that shouldn't be. So again, just you want to make sure that we are training our employees and letting them know, as the article says, we're teaching them good data hygiene and realize what access they have and what that access can do and bring to the company. Make sure all your employees know how important that is. Plenty of companies have been brought down with loss of data. So good article. Highly recommend reading it. Moving on to our next article. Lava lamps, lava lamps, lava lamps, lava lamps. So why are we talking about lava lamps? And this particular YouTube video, the lava lamps that help keep the internet secure. Some of you out there may be familiar with a company called Cloudflare. They originally were the first, one of the first companies to allow SSL free of charge, that you'd be able to go through them. That way you'd get a secure connection. Well, with SSL SSL requires the generation of keys to be able to set up these secure connections. And to set up those keys, you need random numbers, right? You need good random numbers to be generated. Now, of course, software can generate good pseudo random numbers. But unfortunately, with all code, if you know how the code is produced, if you know where it's getting its randomness from, so to speak, you're able to then recreate these pseudo-random numbers in two places, which you really don't want for security. You want truly unique random numbers. So what Cloudflare has done at this one facility is they have a wall of lava lamps that you can see back there. And this video is brought to us by Tom Scott. You can check out his video, it'll be in the links below. So Cloudflare has set up this wall of lava lamps and a camera, and the camera takes a picture of the lava lamps and does some type of computation on the photo itself and comes up with a random stream of numbers. And that stream, of course, is very difficult to predict, because you would have to have the lava lamps, you would have to have the correct lighting, the correct time of day, the correct camera, all these different things that would just be so hard to reproduce, giving you closer to what one would call true random data production. It's a great idea. They talk about how at another facility they use radiation. They talk about at another facility they use magnets and some type of pendulum, and as the pendulum moves over the magnets, the randomness of that again is used to produce a stream of numbers. Very interesting. They talk about how I believe that was the idea and the concept of this was made by another company whose name eludes me in 1996. 4-minute video, great short watch. And there's plenty of resources if you're interested in this concept to bring about random numbers. Highly recommend taking a look at it. Let's move on to our next story. Quad9. Quad9 is a DNS server. I believe many people are familiar with 8.8.8.8, which is a very widely known Google DNS server. I won't get too much into what DNS is here. However, this is a new company that again is offering another DNS service, and again 9.9.9.9. I would recommend taking a look at it and see if it performs better than what you are currently using. And to help diagnose that, I highly recommend over from the Gibson Research Corporation a piece of software that again I will link to in the show notes, called the Domain Name Speed Benchmark. And again, you can find it at grc.com, and this will allow you to benchmark your current DNS as well as let you add in the 9.9.9.9 service and compare them. Unfortunately, in my area, it doesn't look like that the new Quad9 works out better than the service I'm currently using, which I believe is an Open DNS server, which the Open DNS does work better than the Google server. So again, even if you don't take a look at Quad9, take a look at the DNS benchmark tool. It may help speed up your internet just a little, maybe bring it back to some speed that you had and have lost over time if you've gone to a poorer DNS system. Next story from sync.io. 77% of a tested 433,000 sites are using vulnerable JavaScript libraries. So, reading the article from Tim Kedlick, apologize if I mispronounced the name, lets us know what I think many of us know when it comes to setting up sites, and how once a site is set up, it looks like they're forgotten, and a lot of the JavaScript in the background that was used to set it up hasn't been updated. So the top library, with 82% being vulnerable, is jQuery. It drops off pretty quickly after that, but it looks like everyone is just using an old known vulnerable version of jQuery. So if you are administering websites out there, the thought is many people will just, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if you have a website up and running, why update one of these background libraries, because it could break something, and the potential to take down a website, I think a lot of people feel, is more than the possibility of there being vulnerabilities in the code. So again, just something to be aware. There were a lot of sites tested. I believe you can look up the list of names of sites, which even include sites like Google Maps. There are even bad libraries that Google Maps is using. So be aware, especially if you are administering websites of your own. Let us take a look before we head out today over at securitywizardry.com's radar and see what's going on. So today, the latest updates that have come through, and again, today is December 14th. Recently, we had Nessus update on the 12th, Nmap updated on the 10th, and it looks at this point like everybody, Cisco ISP, Cisco SourceFire, Juniper, McAfee, and Preventia have all had IDS signatures update. So if you have not done so, please make sure you're updating all of those systems out there. Wanted to leave us today with one other site that you should be familiar with, and that would be Norse Corp. Norse Corp has intrusion detection software as well, and here what we're looking at is a live map of detected attacks that are going on that Norse Corp's software and services have detected. Again, it being a US-centric corporation, you're going to notice that the US is at the top of the list of people that are being attacked. You can see where the attacks are coming from and what type of attacks are going on that are being logged via Norse Corp, as well as the origin of these different attacks. And this is fun to watch and also scary if you realize what's going on, that at any given second you just have hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of attacks that are going on over the internet. And of course, what does that mean to you and your website? That means you need to be vigilant in how you harden your system, how you harden your website, and shouldn't be a day that goes by where you don't realize that there could be someone out there trying to get into your system and your private data. I want to end as I always do and mention our good friends over at the EFF. The Electronic Frontier Foundation has done great work in trying to be on the correct side of anything for the security, safety, and openness of the internet. So make sure you support them if you can and donate. The current article on the EFF's website, sadly, a lump of coal in the internet stocking as the FCC is poised to cut net neutrality rules, which did happen earlier today. Today being December 14th, 2017, and we will see over the course of the next following months how that FCC decision will affect the internet. Thank you all for joining us again. Wanted to keep this short as I always do, and we're just about to reach a little bit over the 15-minute mark. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe and share if you feel this has been useful, and share it with people that you think would enjoy some internet news that is not getting talked about as much as I think it needs to. We'll end today, of course. Don't forget, believe nothing you hear, only half of what you see, and the cloud is just someone else's computer. Till next time,